Hello, bestie. Welcome back to Living with Ease with Callie
and Celia.
Thrilled to be here today. If we're being honest,
Lots to discuss.
I was gonna say if we're being honest, we're a bit tired, but that too.
We are a bit tired, but we are here and we are ready to chat. So get ready to listen because a lot has gone down since we were last here.
Like too much. I mean, I'm kind of freaking the hell out. Like basically some of the craziest, excuse my language, shit.
You will never believe what happened unless you were on Callie's live.
Yeah, the other day. Okay, I think we just need to get immediately into it.
Elephant in the room, Surfer Boy.
Yeah, at this point, I think we start every single episode with a Surfer Boy update.
And the real question is, like, does Surfer Boy watch?
I really hope not now.
I mean, if he watches, he thinks it's sweet, considering what we're about to get into.
Well, if he's heard every episode and he's still texting me, then I guess.
Period. Okay. How do we even begin?
Okay, this is actually hilarious. So I need to give you some background info, but you've heard this story before. Remember when I told you, I don't know what episode it was in, but I've talked about it several times. My ex-boyfriend he was not my ex-boyfriend.
Sorry.
I'm already, okay. Remember that guy that I was dating my freshman year of college?
The one man Callie was more obsessed with than he was with her.
Well, no, I've been obsessed with every single man more than they've been obsessed with me. But
this one you admit that you were
I was in the wrong. No,
yeah.
I was in the wrong. This is the one where I was in the wrong. He's the one who said he wanted his life back. And remember when the other week we read you our journal entries? They were all about him. Just to give you some background, basically, if you didn't hear that episode, but you should, because it was a crazy one. This guy, I was like, he tried to end things with me, and I just wouldn't let him really. And I was like,
where he said, "I just want my life back."
Yeah.
Sorry, that's just my favorite line.
You love that line.
Time. It's just hilarious.
Yes, you love that damn line.
In retrospect, it's funny.
Yeah, it's funny. Anyway, I'm just gonna call. No, I can't call everyone by their name. I'm gonna call them
S. Let's call him.
No,
S.
let's give him a real name. Sam.
Sam. Okay.
So Sam is the guy who wanted his life back, and his best friend was named Frank. Is that really what I want to give? No.
Yeah, Frank.
Okay. So Sam wanted his life back, and I was good friends with his best friend, Frank. And
this was how many years ago? Just to put a timeline on it?
Freshman year of college, so that was in 2015. It's 2024. 9 years ago.
Almost 10 years ago.
Yeah, that's weird.
8 to 10 years ago.
Yeah, 8 to 10 years ago, because 20. Anyway, I would go over to Frank's house all the time, and he was a good friend to me during this whole time, but he was Sam's best friend, and I would cry to him about how sad I was that Sam didn't like me. And Sam and I would get into raging arguments in Frank's house about I want my life back. I don't want to go home with you. And then we end up going home together.
So Frank knew the whole situation.
Very deeply. I mean, and he knew how obsessed I was. Everyone at that damn school knew how obsessed I was, but Frank had even more inside scoop.
And where are Frank and Sam today? Are they best friends? Do they live together?
Frank and Sam are still best friends. I'm not sure if they live together or not. I don't want to quote that, but I do believe they do live together.
Okay. So fast forward to present day times.
So remember how I've been going on and on about how Surfer Boy ghosted me? And we even said so many times, that just doesn't seem like him. I was really surprised because I just he did not seem the type to ghost.
And we still kept calling him sweet even when he was quote unquote ghosting.
Because that's how confident we are that he is sweet. And remember, okay, I'm going to read you this conversation now between me and what I thought was Surfer Boy. And this is where it gets crazy. I need to read you the whole. Should I tell them what happened first?
Tell them first and then read it. Yeah.
Basically, hold on, let me pull this up. So Celia and I were out the other day having margaritas at La Cabana. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to text Frank, Surfer Boy, one more time because I just can't believe it. I have this weird feeling about him. I want to hang out and I can't believe he would actually ghost me. And I was like, there's nothing to lose. So I had deleted our messages, but I went back and recovered them.
Yeah. She looked up how to recover deleted messages.
Yes. And when I recovered them, I saw that Frank's number had a 508 area code, which is Massachusetts.
Yeah.
And that just doesn't really make sense because
considering the real Frank is from California.
Yeah, like born and raised. So then I was like, that's weird. And the Frank that was best friends with Sam was from Massachusetts. They both were.
Mm-hmm. And the night before, you had also looked at the messages. You searched his name on your messages on your laptop.
And there were only
a couple messages from the first time you hung out over a year
ago. But I didn't
ago.
put 2 and 2 together then.
Yeah.
Anyway, I realize while we're out at lunch drinking margaritas that I think I've been texting the wrong Frank the whole damn time.
She just had their names saved as Frank, let's
no
say.
last name.
Just the first name.
Yeah.
So naturally, when we were out at the bar at El Chucho and we saw Surfer Boy in real life, she texted him at the bar, which she's about to get into, because she just typed in her phone his contact name and it came up. She didn't think oh, I could have this
and
other guy from years
what's
and years
crazy
ago.
Too is a month before we went out to El Chucho, I had just gotten this urge to text him. Mm-hmm. So I had already had text, and so let me read you. These are before I saw him, and then we saw him randomly a month later after I randomly decided to text him after over a year.
Yeah, it was really weird.
I said, "Hey, what's up?" with 2 exclamation points. He said, "Hey, what's up with you now? You're on the West Coast now, huh?" And that made sense because last time I saw him, I hadn't moved here yet. I was planning on moving here.
Keep in mind, this is not the real Surfer Boy. This is confirmed now.
This is why it's so bad.
She was obsessed with. So just think about that when you listen.
But I'm thinking it's Surfer Boy this whole time.
Yeah.
I go, yes. How have you been? He goes, I've been good. Still up in Portland. How about you? And I say, ooh, what are you doing in Portland? And now flash forward when we see the real Frank at El Chucho, I was like, oh, you never responded to my text. And he was like, what are you talking about? Because he texted me and I never responded to him after a year. And then I was like, well, how is...
Yeah, that's so hilarious.
I know. And he was like, how was Portland? Or I was like, how was Portland? And he was like, what do you mean? How was Portland? But it was just brushed off. And I was like, oh, I thought you went. And he was like, no, I didn't. Anyway, I'm still not putting any of this together. Then I text this guy on April 6th, Frank. And this was when we're at the bar. Oh, yeah. So this was April 6th was the day. That we saw him at El Chucho, and he had walked away, so I texted him Frank, and he texted back immediately, hi, exclamation point, I left you hanging last time, frowny face, my bee. And I thought that's because he said he was going to come back and chat with us soon
at the bar. She literally thought she was texting him real time at the bar that we were both still at.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And so then I go, Celia and I left, and I go to him, Frank, you just broke our hearts. And Frank goes back, why and whose hearts, ... And then we still thought he was just being funny.
Yeah.
And so I said, oh, Frank. And he emphasized the message. Then I said, ha, ha, ha. Genuinely, though, great to see you, Frank. You are, of course, invited to our housewarming. He goes, perfecto. And also, what? Maybe he thought I meant great to be talking to you.
It is kind of weird that he's going along with all these messages.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Anyway, then 10 days later, I text him because I just can't.
No normal person would do that.
No. And I would never text anyone else like this either, but I just have, I don't know how, I don't want to, now I'm nervous he's going to listen to the podcast, but whatever. I have a weird feeling, and you do too.
You just feel very comfortable texting him.
I do feel very comfortable texting him.
You're not worried.
I don't feel it's annoying.
Yeah.
And so I texted him Frank. He doesn't respond. So then I texted him on April 21st a GIF with his name in it. It's a heart.
It's a heart and it says his name in big bubble letters just to paint the visual.
He sends back 2 waving emojis. Once again, we just think he's being funny.
Yeah.
And then I go, how are you, Frank? He goes, good. I'm in your state. I hearted it, and I was like, well, that's weird, but we thought he was being sweet at the time because, he's born and raised here, but I guess, we thought he was being oh, this is your state now, too.
And we thought he was in Costa Rica, and he had just gotten back, and he was like, I'm in your state.
Yeah, exactly.
Again.
Because he did, when we saw him, he told me he was going to Costa Rica. So I follow up, and I go, how was Costa Rica? And he just sends a raised eyebrow emoji back. And then I'm like, what? So I go, you told me you were going to Costa Rica when I last saw you. Raised eyebrow emoji. He goes, no way, Jose. So then I'm like, oh, great. He doesn't remember. He told me he's going to Costa Rica and he thinks I'm stalking him now because he hadn't posted anything about going to Costa Rica. So I was like, this is so weird. And I go, Frank, I am lost. And he goes, uh-oh, where? And I hated that message. I was like, that's okay. Then I go, me right now, raised eyebrow emoji, whatever. And then I remember we were in CVS. You were printing out photos for your mom for her birthday. And it all just hit me. I needed to tell Frank how I felt about him because he had DM'd me telling me how he felt about me.
This is where you have to explain now the DMs as well. Bear with us here. There are a lot of pieces to this story.
To go back, after we had seen him out at the bar, he messaged me. We chatted a bit, and he told me he wanted me. Okay. Yeah,
he responded to her in DMs and said, "I want you," because he asked you. It was like, tell it in a little bit more detail.
Okay, sorry. He was like, what? Cook for me, smiley face. And I was like, of
whatever
course. Yeah. No. And then he said, what will you make for me? I said, whatever your heart desires. And he said, I want you, saying his heart desires me. Yeah. So this is also why I felt that's so sweet.
Her heart skipped a beat.
Yeah, it did. And so then while we're at CVS, I'm like, I just got to be real. So 40 minutes later, I go, Frank, it all boils down to the fact I want you.
To her ex, quote unquote boyfriend.
Not even boyfriend.
Friend, whom she was obsessed with. Do you know how many group chats this was probably sent
9 years later. Because it probably,
as if it was like this thing that was eating you alive that you just wanted him. Like, this is just
and
so
like
shocking.
The way it's worded too, I believe this guy has a girlfriend.
Shocking.
Yeah, and like of course he didn't respond to that because like what, and like and
they don't know each other.
This is me.
They haven't seen each other in almost a decade.
This is me implying like I just have been hung up on him for almost 10 years, so he doesn't respond. So then I go.
Meanwhile, sorry.
So then I go, another day, I was like, I'm going to give it one last shot. I swear I'm not usually like this, but bear with me. I said, I actually have been like much worse than this in the past.
I'm not usually like this.
But I haven't been lately.
No, it was just funny.
Anyway, I said, Frank, I think we are due for a drink soon. No response. And so then...
At this point, you're devastated.
I like literally was mourning the loss of Frank. I was like, he ghosted me. Like, I guess like I really like, I don't know.
You were like trying to convince yourself he was a bad person.
Yeah,
because
I was like really bummed.
We were in shock. We were actually in shock.
Yeah, and so then we put it all together. And it's like the most mind-blowing moment ever.
You realize you can't believe it.
So I text the Frank from 9 years ago. I say, ha ha ha, Frank, OMG, I'm so sorry. I now understand the confusion. This is also like a week later. I thought I was texting a different Frank. Hope you're doing well though, ha ha ha, OMG. So that's like literally just giving like he didn't respond to me and I'm trying to make up an excuse.
Yeah, like her ex from high school sends her messages all the time. That is something he would say.
Oh, it's so. He would
be like, after you didn't answer, oh sorry, wrong person.
Yeah.
Like there's no way he thought that was real.
I know.
So that's just like if you're listening, like at least it wasn't really you.
I just know there's so many like weird as hell group chats about me among that friend group now, which is fine. I literally don't care.
It's just shocking.
It's just like yeah.
Shock to the system.
The Prozac must be working because like that's pretty embarrassing.
I mean, they're not really part of your life.
But yeah,
it is pretty embarrassing.
Yeah.
But let's flash forward to the good parts.
The great parts are so
should you read the real messages or is that TMI?
I feel like now I want to read them to you, but I feel like I don't know.
If they're private between you two, that's fine.
They're not private. It's just, what if he listens to the episode and he's like, oh, this is what I'm signing myself up for. She's going to read all of our text messages.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Just give the gist then.
I'm going to give the gist.
Yeah.
So basically, I texted him and I go, Frank,
He would never be like that, by the way, though. His heart would be warm. But I get it. You shouldn't read them, but I just wanted to throw in that he would actually be like, oh my gosh, he's talking about me.
He's so sweet.
Yeah.
I said, Frank, I have the funniest story for you. And then I said, it's Callie, by the way. And then he said, Callie with 2 exclamation points. He said,
maybe you could just read the first couple since you're saying them verbatim anyway. Just the first few that are so sweet.
I'm just going to
paraphrase.
Okay. He said, let's hear it. So then I called him, but he didn't answer. So then I sent him a voice memo, like telling him the whole situation. And he responded like a little bit later. And he was like, sorry, I was with my family. Ha ha ha. But that's amazing. Basically, he thought it was hilarious. And then he said, I wonder if the other Frank got excited. And then he went on to say, I would have said, I want you too, winky face. And then, oh, goodness. And then he also said, like, I told you that you never texted me and I ignored you. Because he would never ignore me. And so then, like, I basically was like, glad I'm finally texting the right Frank. And he was like, me too. And I was like, let's do something soon. And he was like, yeah. And then I told him about the puppy, whatever. He was very sweet about Mr. Ducky. And he even asked how the Bessie women are like doing around him.
So sweet.
And then last night I was just like, because he might be going away. I won't give his whereabouts, but he may be going away this weekend. So I was like, we should do something before you go. And he responded last night. I was getting nervous because he took 3 hours to respond and he viewed my story. So I was feeling awkward. And he said something along the lines of, sorry, I've been so busy today, but yes, definitely, let's do it, smiley face.
I'm not going to read the text, read them from memory verbatim.
No, it was just a very sweet message. I think it was really
cute.
Sweeter than that.
Yeah,
he was just very excited to hang out.
Very eager to hang. So that was my next question for you.
Mm-hmm.
What would your ideal first hang be? Because
Okay,
it's going to be happening.
Well, by the way, I'm
the next
just
time we talk to you, I guarantee you
I'm
this will have
getting
happened.
nervous. I imagine it won't happen tonight because it's already 8:41, but I texted him back this morning and said I could hang out tonight or tomorrow.
You waited until this morning?
Yeah.
Oh, of course. Like, that makes a lot more sense to me.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Yeah, I'm feeling a little antsy that I haven't heard back from him yet, but
I don't think you need to, because if he's going to be your boyfriend, no need to fret. I shouldn't be
we shouldn't be saying this. If he's listening to the episode, he's going to get freaked out. But I don't even think he would get freaked.
I don't think he'd get freaked out at all. And I'm just saying, like, in general about a man. Like, that's something we both really need to be better at.
I think that's a general thing. Yeah, it is. Doesn't matter either way. Literally doesn't matter either way.
Yeah.
Anyway, my ideal first date,
like, when
actually it would be our second date.
So true. What would you like ideally do if you could hang out tomorrow night? Like,
so
would you be here? Would you be there? Would you go somewhere?
He lives an hour away, but I am now recently going. I've gone from a mother of 2 to a mother of 3, as we all know here.
True.
So I would ask if he could please come here
rather than meet out somewhere.
Well, no. I want him, basically, when we went on our first date a year ago, he offered to pick me up, and I said no, because,
so sweet.
You know, like the one time I've had a guy pick me up on the first date, he accused me of being homeless and didn't let me into his car. So, anyway, I, like, didn't have him pick me up. I met him there. What are you humming?
Nothing.
His song?
Not his song, more just like a song that referenced his name, but no, you really have to help me anyway.
Yeah, we outed who it was the other day.
Mm-hmm.
That's funny. Yeah.
Carry on.
22-year-old weirdo. Anyway, I would like him to pick me up this time from here. Like, drive to Venice, pick me up.
Cute. Very cute.
And then I want to go get a margarita somewhere, preferably La Cabana, because they are, like, we're starting to become regulars there, so I'm hoping they would recognize me.
Yeah, the special treatment.
And they'd, like, make me feel good, and I already feel comfortable there, and then they'd be like...
That would be perfect.
Yeah. I mean, we go there enough that... they recognize us on the second time we ever went.
Yeah, that is
so I'd like to go there and have probably, like, 2 margaritas each, and just some chips and salsa, and, like, some great discussion. And then I would, like, after, I'll be like, well...
You're getting tipsy and you're like, well, I do only live a little bit away.
Yeah. I'd love to show you my
Finally
place.
got to do the housewarming.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh.
That's what you could do.
Finally got to do the housewarming, yeah. And so then he comes over for the housewarming, and this is where you're not going to like this part if it's tomorrow, and I already know you're going to say no, but, like, I'd love to have a third drink, all the 3 of us, and I know it's not going to happen.
I would do it.
You would?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I would do it because you always do that little test.
Yeah, and it just makes me feel good.
Mm-hmm.
And I know he'll pass it with flying colors. And so I'd like the 3 of us to have a drink outside.
I hope you guys hang Friday. Then we could really just have a drink.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't mind any day, but... Just thinking about my own self. Carry on.
And so then basically we all have a drink together. It like is just so fun. We're all having so much fun together, like we did at El Chucho.
So true.
And then basically he sleeps over, but we don't hook up.
Mm-hmm. That will be what happens for sure.
Yeah, I'd like to kiss him, but I like don't want to have sex with him only because I can't picture it. I don't know how to explain it. This has never happened with me with anyone before, but I can't picture having sex with him. I kind of can now, a little bit.
Well, I don't think it's a good thing if you can't picture it at all, but I think that
I can
to wait a little bit.
I feel a bit nervous to have sex with him.
Yeah, exactly. That's what's good about it.
Yeah, and usually I don't really care.
Yeah.
So I don't want to have sex the first night. I just want to chill, have him sleep over.
Oh, you could go to Canal Market in the morning.
Yeah.
Together with Ducky.
Yeah, of course.
That'd be really
and bring
sweet.
Ducky to the beach.
That'd be so sweet.
Yeah.
Catch a few waves.
He doesn't like that beach.
I know it was, but he would for you.
Yeah, of course. So anyway, next episode. I mean, I have butterflies.
I mean, this will be happening most likely within 24 to 48
Isn't
hours.
this just like a crazy storyline? Like, whether.
And imagine she never figured it out.
Yeah.
Like, if you never put it together, he'd just be sitting there. Like, he has no idea this all went down.
And I was like really bummed.
Well, yeah.
I just can't wait for next week's update. I like now, like, I'm like, ugh. I hope he doesn't listen to this episode, but I am very excited.
I mean, it was just an epic turn of events.
Yeah. Like, imagine you think someone's ghosted you.
Imagine we smashed him on the podcast so many times and he wasn't even him.
Oh, I
We
know.
did. We bashed him.
I know.
For ghosting you.
Yeah. Yeah. I was going to say something like too much. It's too far. I'm just going to leave it. I can't. I was going to say, if you're listening to this, please stop listening now. Okay. I was going to say, like, that would be cute to play at the wedding. But I need to stop. Like, that's now he's like, no, I just don't think, like, obviously it's a joke. It's a joke. I understand I'm getting ahead of myself.
Speaking of a wedding that won't be happening, I have to share my little prompt.
Oh my
Sorry,
God.
that just reminded me.
This is nuts.
Okay, so I don't know if you remember how I thought, like, that my one, like, Ryo connection was so crazy because I had known him and worked with him at the same place, like, years ago. Like, 10 years ago. So nothing ever came of it, and I really don't want anything to. I already hadn't.
Can you say what he goes by?
No, I find that inappropriate, but I can say, like, it's a weird-ass name.
Could you, like, you could say Blade instead.
Sure, Yeah, so, okay, let's start. So the same day that all this stuff went down. Oh
my God.
I don't know why, actually, but you were on Hinge. Sorry, but you were.
Of course I was,
Yeah.
because I'm devastated. And
Yes.
that's a very normal thing to do.
Okay, so she was on. And
don't make it seem, come on, now you're making me seem even weirder.
No,
Please, stop.
She was on, and basically she came across
I went on
this
Hinge
profile.
this morning as well.
Okay, yeah, so she came across this profile, and she's like, oh, this guy would be really cute except for this photo, and I'm like, I thought she was literally, like, pranking me. I'm like, you do know that's the guy, right? And I've never seen him on Hinge. And she was like, are you serious? I'm like, yes, these are literally photos I've shown you. And basically, he goes by a different name, which is so effing weird. But also, his Instagram, let's call it Blade. His Instagram is
just
Blade,
keep in mind,
name, like
I think
Blade Smith.
what's important to know is that it's not
a normal name.
It's like Blade. He's trying to sound
And
cool.
he actually used it once in conversation with me, which just, I can't even go there. Anyway,
he said, I'm on the blade of my seat.
Well, now you've really given it away, but whatever. So basically, let's say his last name's Smith, and let's say he typically goes by George. So his name on Instagram should be George Smith. No, it's Blade Smith. And then Callie finds his Hinge, because on Raya, it was George. Callie finds his Hinge, and it's Blade. I'm like, bruh. It's so weird. And then
that's like beyond weird.
So that's like
very
the one
weird
thing, right?
It's like, this is my alter ego that goes like this.
Yeah, I actually can't even get into it. So then we come across, we're like, okay, this is fun. Let's read his prompts.
And you've read your prompt, everyone, before, but just read it again.
Not on here, I haven't.
Oh.
Maybe I have. Anyway, so
it's hilarious.
Let's just see if this sounds familiar. Someone at work called it plagiarism. So basically, this is my prompt. Please don't judge me. I need to change it ASAP.
You always say that, but everyone makes fun of her for this prompt, including me and Britta, mostly her sister.
Yeah.
But you always say, "Oh, I need to change it."
I'm
You
just too
love
lazy.
No, it's because you love it, and if you love it, keep it.
I really appreciate that. I don't love it anymore. I'm just genuinely
You
lazy.
do love it.
Okay. Anyway, this
She
year
loves
I
it.
really
She's gonna
to.
smile. You're already smiling.
Okay. This year
You
I
love
really
the
want to
prompt.
cook more and expand my Rolodex of recipes. I love a night in cooking with a glass of wine, wind down playlist, and potentially the right company. Did you hear those 3 points? I'll repeat. Glass of wine, wind down playlist, and potentially the right company. And did I mention I love a night cooking in? This is his prompt. We'll get along if you prefer cooking in and making a night of it with wine, a good playlist, messing up the recipe, maybe burn the kitchen down.
It's like he's almost poking fun at yours.
Yeah, I know. And I almost, you know what? I almost changed it because I didn't, like, when I did first connect with him, I was like, oh, shoot, I got to change my Hinge prompt. He's going to think I'm weird. Because I feel like it doesn't, like, necessarily, I don't know, sometimes it does come across a little weird, so. Yeah, never
Wait,
did
no,
it.
that's actually so hilarious, though, because it's like,
It's just shocking.
he's like
Absolutely
saying,
shocking.
like, you're taking it so seriously, and he's like, oh, let's burn the kitchen down.
Yeah, I can't even deal with him.
Can we just also discuss that
Or
he
writing
goes by the
songs
name
24.
Blade, and he, like, the Hinge photo that I was like, whoa, is him going like this.
Stop it.
If you're not watching, he has like his tongue out. He's doing like a peace sign or like a rock out
Oh my
sign.
god, I think it was peace.
Yeah, peace, and he has a filter on it. And he's a 29-year-old man.
Yeah, no words.
28,
At least
I
that
think.
was, I think 29. Either way, it very much so made me, I mean, I wasn't even interested in him
Yes, you
that
were.
time. No, I wasn't.
Oh, that time.
No,
Yeah,
in the beginning,
no.
I thought it was, like, so crazy coincidence.
Yeah.
And then he was very handsome, but, Blade, you done blew it.
You done goofed. You don't even know that reference.
Yeah, I do.
Who's it from?
Don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
What's it from? No.
You can't even guess?
No, right now, no.
I don't think you've ever seen the videos. I can't even remember her name anymore, but if you know what I'm talking about, it's the girl who was her name Jessie. She was obsessed with blood on the dance floor, and she would post all these videos crying because people would bully her online. It's not funny at all, but her dad came on and he screamed to everyone, "You done goofed."
Don't know. I'll have to look into it.
Yeah, I'll show it to you. What was her name? Like Jessie? I don't know. Anyway,
So yeah, those were just like a couple of shocking events that happened to us this
the first
weekend.
half an hour of the episode, it's updates. I
Oh,
mean,
wow.
there was a lot to talk. This is just a chatty episode. So we thought like,
Oh, confessions.
yeah, we knew that this episode was going to be very chatty. So we thought because we knew the updates were going to probably take up like a lot of the episode, we would do multiple confessions, 3 to 5, depending on length.
Mm-hmm.
Sound good? Yeah.
Sounds good. Let's hear it first.
This is a really juicy first confession. Bestie, if this is you, love this confession because you know I love a menage a trois. Okay. Hi, besties. Here's my confession. Was living with my friends and her parents during the COVID summer, and once things started to open back up, we would go downtown a lot. I had been working a remote job for 6 months prior and had just quit and ran into one of my former mentors, in quotation marks, at a bar. Fast forward, we leave together and the parents I was staying with weren't home, so we cab back to this giant lake house. Me and him have sex, and then he asks if some of his buddies can come over. I was weirded out but said okay for an hour. They show up and his buddy immediately starts hitting on me, and I was so drunk that I have sex with my former coworker's buddy. Then the first guy walks in during the middle of it. A moral of the story, we had a very short threesome in the guest room of my friend's parents' house. Both are super into me when they leave. I found out 2 weeks later through mutuals that they both have girlfriends. 4 years later, they both still reach out to me when they're drinking, so I think at the end of the day, I won. Love you, besties. Love you, bestie.
Oh man, bestie.
Yeah, that is
That
actually
is wild.
Hey, besties. First of all, I just wanted to say I absolutely love living with ease. It brings me so much joy every week. Really, bestie. I recently moved to the big city and I feel so lonely here. Very normal. if you mean New York, I don't know if you do, but whatever big city it is, moving to a city is the loneliest thing in the whole world. Seriously.
And what do you always tell me? Like, it takes a couple years before
my mom always tells me that. My mom says
like
it takes 3 years.
Yeah.
But whenever I tune in and listen, it really cures my loneliness, and I feel like I'm there hanging out with you. Aw, well, we're really hanging out right now, bestie. Okay, here's my confession, LMFAO. To preface, I'm a grown-up girly now with a grown-up girly job, and I'm not toxic and crazy anymore, the things we do for men. Yeah, I mean, I really feel you, bestie. Oh, Ducky, looks really cute. When I was in my junior year of high school, I was dating this guy, let's call him Ryan. Ryan was obsessed with me for literally years before I gave him a chance and pursued me until I'd go out with him. Eventually, I did and fell madly in love with him. We dated for a year. That was the same with me and my ex senior year of college. Yeah.
Mine too.
Mm-hmm. Ryan also had a best friend. Let's call her Ashley. Ryan and Ashley were super close and had been friends since freshman year. Every single night when Ryan and I were on the phone, he had to hang up at 9 p.m. to call Ashley, and they would talk for the rest of the night.
Oh my God.
I would be livid.
I don't even have words.
If he was extra busy and didn't have time to call me, he would still call her, and they would hang out alone all the time. Oh my God. They also constantly sent each other heart emojis. Can you believe it? No, oh my God. When I told him that this really upset me, he told me that he has to continue to prioritize her because they are best friends. And if I ever asked him to choose, he would choose her. I'm gagged. Oh my God.
I would just exit the relationship.
I would love to say that I would, but I know I wouldn't.
That's just shocking.
It's shocking. But like,
how are you in a relationship with someone and they can't even choose you?
No, I'm just saying, like, I could see my high school self, like, just like, you don't want to leave because then you're like, oh, they'll end up together.
Yeah.
Now, since Ryan cared for Ashley so much, I tried to become friends with her too. Girlfriend of the year, am I right? Yeah, seriously. I mean, that is, wow. Bigger person, bestie. She played volleyball, and I would always go to support her at her volleyball games and message her and ask to hang out. That is unbelievable, bestie. She would ignore my messages, and when I went to her volleyball game, she would point and laugh at me with her friends. She rallied her entire volleyball team to spread rumors about me around the school and comment hate on my Instagram pictures calling me names. When I told Ryan this, he was convinced that I was making it up and he wouldn't take my side. I had no proof because the comments never came from her account. So I took matters into my own hands. I had to get proof. For over 3 months, I gathered intel on Ashley by watching her closely in classes and eavesdropping on things she was saying so that I could hack into her social media accounts and send myself hate so that Ryan would believe me and stop being friends with her.
You're iconic. This is actually like some baby reindeer.
Yeah, this is epic. Part of this was because Ashley was a bitch, but also I was sick of her getting all the attention from my boyfriend, who was ugly, by the way. I really feel that, bestie.
Always.
After many months of trying to guess her password to Facebook and Snapchat, I literally tried every password imaginable. I was laying in bed one night and I finally guessed it right. Her password was literally volleyball13, which was pretty dumb of her. But anyways, I sent myself a bunch of hate messages from her Facebook, Snapchat, and Twitter, screenshotted them on my own accounts, and then deleted them all from her account so she'd never know it was me. I showed Ryan and he was shook and gagged and stopped being friends with her, and I was literally the hacker of the century. But a few months later, he became friends with her again. The nerve. So I had to take it up a notch. I bought a burner phone to text myself and to text Ryan insanely mean messages claiming they were from Ashley. I did this for weeks until he dropped her again. Eventually, we broke up, and I can happily say that I'm engaged to someone else and not a certified hacker anymore. But now I've finally told someone that story. Love you, besties. I think that might be the craziest story we've had yet.
Yeah, I don't know if I can even. That's insane.
That is unbelievable, bestie.
Like, I'm very yes, this is not the person you are now. This is just
that is the craziest story I've ever. I mean,
in shock.
If I knew how to do that in high school, I would have.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I would have. I even said I would have. I literally said last episode when we were talking about fantasies that like one of my fantasies was my high school boyfriend's girlfriend after me would I would hope she'd push me down the stairs so he could finally see how awful she was. If I could have found a way to like make her look awful, oh my God. That was a crazy one, bestie.
Crazy one.
Okay, last one. It's titled Extremely Embarrassing Sex Confession. Hi, bestie. Please keep this anonymous. I've never admitted this to anyone. Your secret is safe with me, bestie.
So glad you trust us.
Yeah, seriously. Love you. This is so happy. This is just like a little, I know. It's just a trust circle. I love it. So a while back, I met this guy at a club, and there was extreme sexual tension, but I was sort of seeing someone else at the time we met, so we just exchanged numbers that night and nothing else happened. Let's call this guy Jackson.
Love all the like.
Yeah, me too. We need to get better about that because we always just like this guy, that guy. Yeah. Months after, when the thing between the guy I was seeing was over, Jackson messaged me out of the blue. It was crazy timing, literally 2 days after I ended it with the other guy. I'd take that as a sign immediately. Jackson and I continued to get to know each other over the phone for a couple months as he was writing exams and couldn't make plans until they were over. When he finished his exams, I met him out again at a club and we kissed, but I didn't go home with him. I was there with a friend who I couldn't ditch. But we made a plan for him to come over to my place a couple days later. Now, I was pet sitting for my mom while she was away on holiday, so I was at her place when Jackson came over. We spent this crazy romantic evening together where we were literally obsessed with each other. It had been a buildup of like 3 months of sexual tension and chatting every day. We made and ate some pizzas. Oh, that's sweet. And then we had sex, a lot of sex. Now, please bear in mind that I genuinely had been celibate for like 3 years before this night. Last time I also have, like, I feel like the past like 10, like ever since I turned 22, I go through like 3 to 4 year periods of celibacy. Wait, well, I'm only 26. Wait, ever since I turned 21, I don't know. I've been I also
we both had very long times of celibacy.
Yeah, I just really feel you on that. Is the point. The sex was so intense and this guy had me in all sorts of weird jarring positions. Then suddenly I started to feel a little ill. Luckily, Jackson was hitting it from the back when I literally threw up in my mouth from all the vigorous movement. I know. I swallowed it and continued on like nothing had happened. Oh my god, bestie, that's my worst nightmare. Praying that he didn't notice or smell it on me. We continued on for the rest of the night and fell asleep together. But in the morning, Jackson was up early in the bathroom, and let me just say, bro's stomach was not happy. I think there must have been something in the pizzas we had the night before that made us both sick. I'm just lucky that I could hide mine better than he could. Poor Jackson was rushing back and forth to the bathroom every few minutes, and let's just say this
biggest fear.
The smell really wasn't hiding what was going on in there. I tried to play it off as though I didn't notice, and he left that morning. Safe to say I never saw him again. I don't know whether it was that he noticed me throw up or was embarrassed about his own situation, or whether he truly couldn't care less to continue anything on with me. But that's my story, and it haunts me to this day. Love you so much, bestie. Love you, bestie.
Love you.
My God.
That semi-happened, not to that extent whatsoever, but this summer, I had been wearing Spanx all night. And I slept in them.
Oh, yes.
And then my stomach had so much, like, gas because the Spanx had been holding it in all night. And then I literally, like, was clenching my butt together. And, like, my whole body was sweating. I was just frozen there. And the guy made me coffee. By the way, it was the guy that I really liked.
Yeah, the guy.
He brought me coffee. And he wanted me to go, like, have breakfast with his family. And I literally couldn't move. And he kept, like, trying to show me stuff. And I was literally frozen like that. Like, I could not move, and I was like sweating, and I just kept saying I really don't feel well. And the bathroom was in his room, like attached, so
oh God,
gonna, like, go explode in the bathroom. It was awful.
I'm actually
awful. And then he picked me, so we went out. I was walking to the beach, and he was meeting me there with his brothers, and we were on the porch, and he picked me up and like swung me around in a hug, and I literally like shook my legs because I had to be put down so bad. I was literally gonna,
my God.
Yeah, awful.
Oh my God.
Not as bad as your story, but I know the feeling. That is literally my worst nightmare.
Yeah.
Growing up, I can't even imagine.
There's this story it's like viral. I don't think if people some say it's true, it's not true, but it's always haunted me because I could so see myself doing this. I can't remember the exact thing, but basically this girl's like at a guy's house. She clogs the toilet and then she panics and like grabs that with her hands and then like puts it in like a bag or something. And then somehow the guy finds the bag. I could just see myself doing that.
Same.
This is what I'm worried about. My bathroom in this house connects to my bedroom, and there's like 2 entryways, so you can enter from like the laundry room or you can enter from my room. But because my bedroom's so small, you literally can't close the door because like I
think we just thought I just came up with a solution though.
I just moved my bed.
No. No, what you could do, yeah, you could temporarily, like, if he's coming over,
move my bed,
shut the door, and just pretend that door is always closed.
Yeah.
And then you only go through the bathroom, like, by going through the laundry room.
Yeah, it's actually, I should probably do that.
That's what you should definitely do.
Yeah.
Because there's no way you're going to go, like, she doesn't close the door, it's just her. Like, there's no way I can see your toilet right now. Like, there's no way you're gonna be going to the bathroom while he's just laying here, you know?
I'd feel uncomfortable.
So what you have to do before he comes over is close that door.
I'll need your help.
I will happily help you. You know?
Yeah.
Because then it's like, oh, excuse me. Then you go over there, and he's not like staring at you. Like, imagine he's just like everything. Watching it. You can easily like turn on the shower or the water.
Everyone like really doesn't like this trick I do, and it makes it makes everyone really upset, but it just works. Okay, so if you need a tip and a trick,
I can't even imagine doing this.
Okay, well it works. I've had one too many times where I've sat down on the toilet and farted like at a guy's house, because you hold in so much gas when you're at a guy's house. So what I do is I take my finger and I wrap it in toilet paper. And then I stick it not up my butt, just like on my butthole. Because then, even if air comes out, since your finger is on your butthole, it muffles the sound.
But then doesn't your finger smell?
First of all, I wash my hands. Second of all, I wrap my finger in like mounds of toilet paper. I'm not touching my butthole with my finger. It's the same as wiping, practically.
Yeah.
Just imagine like you kind of plug your butthole with a little bit of toilet paper.
I don't think I'll try it sometime to see if it works.
Yes, try it in the privacy of your own home first, and you'll see.
Can you believe I lived with a man for years?
No, I can't.
Just get used to it, I guess.
Yeah. That's nuts.
It is weird at first to think about. Like, I think in the beginning I only went to the bathroom, like, I'd tell him, like, don't come in, or I'd go to the bathroom, like, right before
And then you just got over it?
Yeah, I don't really care by the end. More like,
wow.
Yeah.
Could you poop in front of him?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, probably. Well, I don't know if I did that, but I'm sure I could.
Wow.
He did in front of me. I mean, it was not something that we did often. But if I absolutely had to, I definitely could. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I don't know if I ever did, but I could.
Yeah. Well, on that note, love you so much. Can't wait to update you next week. We will see you next week. We love you. Yeah, so many updates. Oh, goodness. I hope he doesn't watch this episode. Okay. Love you.
Love you.
Bye.
Have a good week.